In today's date where all the main flagships are removing headphone jacks, should you get wireless headphones or wireless earphones or earbuds? Welcome to Wings Expand. Today we're going to be discussing whether you should get wireless headphones or wireless earphones, and I'm going to be reviewing this Aukey T10 and also this Sony WH-CH700n. Really, Sony? Come on, you can do better on these naming schemes, really. So in any headphones you want to buy, there are three important factors: sound quality, audio quality, and comfort. And all of these are important in order to make any headphone. But when it comes to wireless, we are bringing more things into play: connection, form factor, and we also got to think about all the different features these headphones give you. But first, also before I get into the review, I just want to show you guys the unboxing of this, and also, although I've had these for a while, I'm gonna show you what you get in the box.
When you first get the box, you normally would get a plastic wrapping on it, but for this video I had already removed it. Once you get the matte black finished box open, the very first thing you're greeted with is the eggshell rotating case and the two earphones up top. I like this case, this rotating mechanism. Once you get it open, it locks into the open position and also the closed position. This is it will not rotate in your pocket when you don't want it to. In order to first get started, you just gotta drop these earphones into the case and that will turn them on. After that, you just take them out and they'll automatically go into pairing mode. And anytime after that, you just drop them in the case, they'll turn themselves off, and anytime you want to connect, you just take them out. Underneath the box, you get the first thing you get is your startup guide, and this quick startup guide may be useful if you've never used truly wireless earphones before, but for most people you're okay without this. On the left side, you get the charging cable, which is a USB-C to USB-A cable. You do not get any adapter, but the USB-C cable that you get here is really good, really flexible and wonderful. I have no complaints. I'm happy that Aukey made sure that this is a USB-C, and I think that's really wonderful. On the right side, you get the different sized ear tips and wing tips. So if you are anybody that struggles with fitting, I didn't find to have any troubles with these. These were wonderful. They worked great right out of the box for me, but you got all sorts of different sizes. For this earphones, you get everything you need in order to get started, and I'm happy with what I get. Just to quickly show you here, you also get the manual and also the warranty, which is a 24-month warranty, aka 2 years. Most people will not need this, but I'm happy with this. On the Sony side, we got the headphones themselves. We also get the 3.5mm cable and the USB-A to micro USB charging cable, and you also get the newspaper sized startup guide and manual. Plenty for everybody and whatever you need, so you get everything you need.
So let's first talk about form factor, since that's what's going to differentiate these two when it comes to size, since this one you can easily fit in your pocket, and even the earphones themselves, they sit pretty flush to your ears. So I would suggest this form factor is one of your best concerns, and the Aukey T10 does pretty well. It's not too rounded that you couldn't fit in your pocket. On the other hand though, I would suggest keeping the earphones in the case when you're not using them, because they're pretty easy to lose. So when it comes to the Sony's, form factor is not their biggest positive, I would say. So you can't fold them or anything like that, although the Amazon site says you can fold. Don't listen to Sony on the Amazon site, you can't fold these. But to get that out of the way, they do swivel and you could put them around your neck, but it's not their best suit. You can put them in a bag. I put these in a bag, they'll do okay, but you'll need a bag, you need somewhere to carry them. You can't just throw them in a pocket. So I would say when it comes to headphones, if you can get foldable ones, they might be easier to secure, even ones that you'll get a box in, like a storing box or a case in the box. I'll put one down for this one that works in the link below. So when it comes to the Aukey T10, I was surprised to see that they fit pretty well right off the bat. Like, no problems, no nothing. I just put them in and they were comfortable right off the bat. They have these wings that you can see that will hold with your ear, and they do pretty well, and they do a good job. The only thing was over time, after 2 to 3 hours, those wings actually dig in pretty harsh. I wish they did it the same way Bose did their like sports ones, on the wire ones, where the wingtips were actually pretty soft and they didn't hurt your ear over a long period of time. So I'd say over a long period of time you're gonna need some break, at least when you first begin them, until your ears get used to them. But initial fit was wonderful. You get 3 different sizes of ear tips, and as well as 3 different sizes of wing tips as well. Wings. Anyway, so when it comes to the Sony ones, it's actually pretty comfortable. So you get this very nice plush leather, pew leather. Anyway, so, and even the headband was pretty comfortable. I was able to wear them for hours on end. The headband could get a little bit diggy over time, but I'm just comparing it to very high-end headphones. But for what it's worth, it's actually quite comfortable. It does get a little bit warm, so if winter is where you want to wear them, this will keep you warm through winter. But I would say every few hours you might want to let your ear breathe a little bit. So let's talk about features and battery life and all that, since that's what biggest thing we want to talk about when it comes to both of these wireless devices. I would say the Aukey T10, I got around 6 to 6.5 hours of battery time with constant use, around 75% volume. I would say you probably could push it to like 7 hours if you're using 50%, but I would say usable amount is 75%. Also, for the battery life, you get about 17 hours extra on the case on top of the 6.5 hours on each earbud. So you can charge them about 2.5 times using the case. And when it comes to charging, these are actually pretty great. So you can get a quick charge where if you charge it for like 10 minutes, you get about 30% of battery on these earphones, which lasted me about just a little over an hour. I don't know exactly the exact time, but it was about over an hour. It's a decent amount, and you can charge these with USB-C. You can also charge these wirelessly, which is a nice touch. Well done, Aukey. I really appreciate that. Let's also talk about the quick connect. So these actually, once you get them pairing, and if you're only using one device, they're really great. So once you got them paired, first thing you do is you just take out the right earbuds and you automatically turn on, and right away the left earbuds will connect to the right ones, and you're good to go. You're just playing and you're on the move. You don't have to press any buttons to turn them on. By the time you got them in your ears, they're already on. You can get them playing. So the pairing process is a little bit difficult if you're using multiple devices. When you first pair them, you just take them out of the box and they're in pairing mode. But in order to pair them with a different device, you're gonna have to disconnect it from your first device, and it will automatically go into pairing mode again. And you can also remove your pairing list by holding the right side of the earbud for 5 seconds. A little bit hefty, but once you get used to it, and if you're using one device, it's by far the easiest thing. You just put them on and you're on the go. Absolutely great. And with that being said, also let's talk about the touch controls. So for the touch controls, one tap on either of the earbuds will pause or play, and also answer phone calls and end phone calls. Double tap on the right side will give you the next track, which seems to be working most of the time. You just have to tap it in a specific way, which I show you here. And also when you're to go to a previous track, double tap on the left earbud, and in order to access voice assistant, you can triple tap on your earbuds. But who are we kidding? Who uses voice assistants anyway, especially on earphones? Also, for volume, you gotta hold the left or the right earbud in order to increase or decrease the volume. So right is increase, left is decrease, and you gotta hold them for a little bit, but they'll get going, and that works, I find, the best. The one that doesn't work the best is like double tapping for previous track. So let's talk about the Sonys. These got a 35 hours of battery, which is insane. They last quite a while. They also support not quick charge, but you can charge them for 10 minutes and you'll get an hour of battery. I would say that's quick charge, but it's not like the higher end models that support about an hour and a half of battery life with 10 minutes of charge. For charging, these use micro USB. I wish they were USB-C, especially at this price point. Come on, Sony. We could step that up, but you know, micro USB, I'm sure people got it. Most people won't complain about it, but for the future, USB-C please. These also support NFC, but they only got one device as well, so they can only connect to one device. But getting into pairing mode is easier. You just hold the power button longer when you're turning it on and it will go straight into pairing mode. I would say it's a little bit easier to change devices compared to the Aukey T10. So the good thing about changing volume or like the buttons on this is they're physical buttons, so none of the touchpad that you get on the higher end models. But I'm not complaining, honestly. You hold the power button, it's easy, it works 100% of the time. You get the volume rocker is easy, you can tell where it is even when your headphones are on your head, and even the switch that they got for play, pause, skipping track, going back to track, it's great. You also get a noise cancelling button, which by default is voice assistant. I wish it was noise cancelling. I don't know why Sony did that, but once you get the software installed on your whatever device you're using, you can also update the drivers on these. There was an update for mine, and you can just change that to noise cancelling. And I would say the noise cancelling is on the alright end of things. It's not crazy like the Bose ones, but I would say it's pretty good. It takes out any ambient sound, any lower end sound. I'd say mids and highs are actually not that great, but it works for what it's worth. And once you got your music going, you're not going to be able to hear the outside. So when it comes to noise cancelling, these are way better than these, which don't support any active noise cancelling. You also get the 40mm drivers on these, and you get the option of headphone jack. So if you ever wanted to connect to something that doesn't support Bluetooth, that's also why you might want to invest in a headphone rather than earphones. If you have a device that you want to use your so-called wireless that you're going to invest into something that doesn't support it. When it came to connection, both of these support Bluetooth 5.0, so you're not going to struggle. Most people are going to be happy with the connection. I actually even left my apartment and walked around and I didn't even have any connection drops. So I would say the 5.0 on both of these is pretty great. There's one small report when it came to the Aukey T10 where people were complaining that there was a small, like a second of pause, like a second of cutoff every 20-30 minutes. I didn't find mine to be consistent, but I did find that the connection cutoff happened every so often. First of all, it didn't happen until like an hour and a half into like listening, and it would happen maybe like next half hour, and then maybe 2 hours later. It wasn't consistent with mine, but it wasn't like anything annoying or anything that prevents you from listening. And I would say it's not a big deal. Some people found it annoying. The more often it is, the more annoying it would be. But for the most part, most people are not going to complain about these. Most people would not even notice that they're having a connection issue. Another thing I want to talk about connections is when it comes to videos. Both of these suffer that delay that you get because of the Bluetooth connection. Both of these are on the same level. I would say maybe the Aukey T10 was a little bit more noticeable, but I would say they're both not great. They're not going to do... You're playing games on these, you're going to notice the delay. So now sound quality, which is I would say is another very important factor, and which probably will decide what most people choose their headphones on. But I would say both of these are pretty good. I would say they're all about the price level and what I would expect for. The Aukey T10 has a dynamic sound stage where the bass is pretty tight, very punchy. It is definitely there, but it's not overpowering. I would say it's actually really good and well done. So you're getting the bass, but it's not destroying the rest of the music. The mids are pretty balanced. The only thing I might complain a little bit is about the highs, where it was a little bit too bright for me, but most people would find it, I would say, pretty good. But the overall sound is dynamic, and the more like volume you put into it, the more like exciting it gets, or the better it sounds. It's almost weird. I don't know, maybe it's on purpose, but that's one thing I noticed. The Sonys, on the other hand, are a little different from the other Sony headphones. There's the classic Sony sound signature, which is bass heavy. Not true with this one. The bass is there, the bass is good when it needs to be, but I would say the bass is not as pronounced as their bass boosted headphones. And I would say it's actually rather the more balanced bass extended headphone would be the perfect, I would say the perfect description of these. And when it came to the mids, some people found the mids a little bit lower when I looked online, but in my case I found it pretty good. I thought it was well balanced. The highs were really balanced too. They were not bright, and I would say most people would enjoy both of these. I would not say you're sacrificing anything when it comes to sound quality, and these earbuds will sound better than your AirPods for sure. But with jokes aside, I would say the other difference is sound stage. So these have these are earphones, these are headphones. So anytime you're picking between a headphone and an earphone, chances are the headphone is gonna have a wider sound stage than the earphone. And lastly, let's talk about build quality. The build quality of both of these is really good. I would say with the Aukey T10 you get a little bit of flex on the lid, but it's nothing alarming at all. I would say it's actually feels really premium with this gray matte finish both on the earphones and also on the case itself. I would say it feels solid and most people are happy. There was no complaints about the flexible lid online, and so it's nothing to worry about. And I would say the rotating eggshell also helps, since you're not gonna have a lid that will have a hinge that can snap. I would say it's actually a really good design. It's the same thing with these. The build quality I would say is really great. The pads are well done, nothing happening from them from the past 6 months of use. I would say the steel frame that is on these is also wonderful. The only thing that I might worry about when it comes to Sony headphones is because just the hinge. In the past, the previous Sony headphones that has a similar hinge, both the hinges snapped and I was not happy with that. But with these ones, that looks like they have made a deliberate improvement. They didn't necessarily change the design, but they adjusted it in a way that it's way less likely to snap. So my overall thoughts is I'm really impressed with these Aukey T10. If you're looking for truly wireless earbuds, these are really wonderful. I do want to check out one of the Anchor ones, but we'll see if we'll ever end up getting to that. And there's actually pretty good quality earbuds for good prices. And also, just to mention, both of these I bought them for around 125 Canadian was the price that I got on both. But sometimes they have a sale on these, which are actually go down to like 100 Canadian dollars. But for US dollars, I think both of these generally sell for 100. I did find right now in Canada, these are being sold for insanely $228. I think that's just some kind of stock problem, but you can find like really good refurbished ones for like 130. I don't know what's happening with prices and stocks with these ones exactly, but I do know that US Amazon is updating their catalog soon, so I'll put the links down below for everything. And for $100 price range, I would say these are wonderful. Both of these headphones are right where they should be. I would expect a lot of people to like these ones with their wireless charging, USB-C, everything they give. So if form factor, mobility, and also I would say quick connect is important to you, then go for something like the Aukey T10. But if you like more substantial, something that you're sitting at a desk, you're not having to move around a lot, like to listen for long hours, and you like the comfort of headphones, I'd say these are pretty good. Thank you for watching the comparison between wireless headphones and earphones and the review of the 700Ns. I'm not gonna say the full name, and the Aukey T10 were really wonderful. Thank you very much for checking it out. Subscribe, stay tuned for more, and the mouse one I promised is coming very soon. See you on the next one. Adios.